Hello, everyone. Good evening for everyone, wherever you were. So, this is our live talk show. My name is Cheu. You are tuning in on Cheu Lit. So, today we're going to talk about immigrants, immigrant life in the United States. Right now, the discourse have been changing a lot, and most immigrants are living in fear of being deported, fear of being detained, fear of any threats from different corners. Since the beginning of Trump administration, there have been a crackdown on immigrant communities in different aspects. First of all, the state authority has said they are looking for illegal immigrants living in the United States illegally. When it's illegally, it means some people who came by land from Latino countries, but also some others who came. I don't know if you can board a flight without a visa. I don't know that, but like 90% of people who are illegally in the United States have been there, came by land in the southern America border, which is now secured as President. But yeah, so the discourse are changing. Every speech coming out from the Trump administration portray immigrant as liability, and they don't talk about the positive impact of immigrant in the United States, which is making actually communities fear and actually polarized. Now there is fear between immigrant and non-immigrant. There is also a division between people. There is also this way of depicting immigrant as a threat to national security, threat to culture, threat to the American way of life. And that's why actually I've been thinking about making this video. So if you are starting with us, we are new and we are trying to start this YouTube channel where we can share with our followers about life in America, but also focusing on business, money, and politics. So now we are talking about politics, and that's why we chose to say immigrants are an asset to the national security of the United States, to the American way of life, to American first. Immigrants are not a liability as they are depicted in the United States. So let's say, for example, wherever you hear people talking about migration and immigrant, it seems like all immigrants are really a liability to American way of life, to American businesses, to American development, to America power. And immigrants, in normal cases, they are not. They are powerless. They don't have. Most of them don't have right to vote, and most of them have no right to participate in the national elections. And this, therefore, whoever wants the power can hide behind them and say this is the threat to the national security of the country. So I wanted to say that immigrants are not a liability; instead, they are an asset. And I wanted to say that protecting immigrants is also American first. It's also MAGA, Make America Great Again. Because let's be honest. If we are talking about migrant and immigrant, let's talk about when they come here, most of them becomes entrepreneurs. They create jobs. Those jobs also, some of the citizens benefit from those jobs. And they also bring skills. They bring energy. Actually, I think you've heard there are a lot of studies and a lot of research which confirm that it's more likely that an immigrant can become an entrepreneur and business owner than a national or a citizen. Why is that way? Because immigrants have been going through different challenges and they are risk takers. In this case, not only they are part of job creation in the United States, but also citizens and non-citizens can benefit from their innovation, from their creativity. I think this is really known. It's fine in this case. They create jobs, they create businesses, and the United States can benefit from them. That's normal. So second, immigrant of the United States community is not enough to sustain the population. In this case, if immigrants are not there, the social security welfare system might scramble down. And that's why when immigrant pays taxes, when immigrants contribute to social security of the United States, in this way they are becoming an asset. They are an asset. They are not really a liability. But let's not move that. Everybody knows about this. The two futures, studying or making short courses, working here. When those kind of people go to their countries, they become an asset to the United States by choice or by demand. Let's say an example. Someone is living in the United States and goes back to his country, her country, and it becomes a minister. What do you think if the United States wants to bring something or wants to propose something in that country? It will be easier if that person lived in the United States, lived with American citizens, learned the culture, have been well treated. So this person becomes an asset in his origin country. And that's what happens to military people who comes to the United States to train themselves. That's what happens to students who come to the United States to study. When they go back, they are an asset. Actually, they are the culture bridge between the two nations. And when I hear people talking about immigrants as a threat to national security, to the culture, to American way of life, it makes actually me think, what is really a political message behind this? Yeah, and that's something I've been learning. When an immigrant who lived in the United States and went back to his country becomes a businessman, what happened when an American, a U.S. citizen, go there to start a business? He has someone to count on. They are more likely to cooperate on win-win situation, and sometimes even American citizen might benefit. Let me give you one example of me. One day I went to Zambia. I was visiting some projects. It was part of my studies. And there I met one U.S. citizen. And I was like, wow, where do you live? And he told me, you know what, I live in Indiana. Wow, I said, Indiana, I've been there. And I was like, oh, it was easier to connect with this person because at one day I went to Indiana in a training. So, and I like the people, I like the culture, and I like actually everything. And it was very easy to connect. So immigrants are the culture bridge when it comes to culture diplomacy, to business diplomacy, and bilateral relations between United States and other country. So I understand when people talks about MAGA, Make American First, make America great again, and also America first, put American interests in the first place before others. I understand that, and I want to say, like, protecting immigrants and treating them in a dignified way is also American first in one way or another. I think we might disagree on that point, but one point we can agree is nobody wants to be treated not in a dignified way. Nobody wants to be treated bad. Nobody wants to feel like isolated in a community. Nobody wants to feel like, you are a threat to our way of life and so forth. So I would like to say, Right now, though the fear among immigrant community are on rise, are increasing, I would like to remind people that it's not easy, because immigrants are not nationals, and sometimes their right and benefit are limited, and until they get naturalized and become citizens. But the truth is, even when they become citizens, still they sometimes, because of politics, they might feel still immigrant. At one we say no, they must assimilate, but sometimes no matter how you assimilate, whoever wants to portray you in a negative way will say, no, you are not assimilated. Sometimes they might say, you're not talking, you don't have an American accent, well, you don't eat like American, well, you don't talk like American. So whoever wants to discriminate you can do it in the way it is. So political rhetorics in the United States always refers immigrant as threats to national security. But when you look how United States was created, it's like, Europeans came to United States in different channels, Germans, Irish, British, and so on and forth. They came to America. You remember the independence they fought with the British, the Boston Tea Party, and that's how they get independence. It was like a mix of different people from different countries who came and created the United States. And I think, as I said, protecting immigrant is also American first, due to the point that I've raised in this video. And I think that's what we should remind ourselves when we are talking about this. So, immigrant to the United States are an asset in intelligence community, an asset in business diplomacy, an asset in cultural diplomacy, an asset in bilateral relations, in political relationship between the two nations, an asset to everything actually. That's how the United States actually is respected around the world, because you can meet a black American and think like he's from Angola, for example, and you start talking. So this means he could be an asset in Africa, a CIA or FBI or whatever asset in the intelligence community. You can also meet a Chinese person looking Chinese in China, and you think he's Chinese when he's American, and this makes America great again, by the way. You can meet, America is so diverse, and this diversity has made it America great again. Let me back to the Silicon Valley in over there in California. Silicon Valley, the creators, let's take an example of Elon Musk. Elon Musk is an immigrant from South Africa. He went through Canada, and after Canada, he came to United States. This guy has created a lot of jobs, a lot of companies like Tesla, like SpaceX. He bought also Twitter, X, and so on and so forth. And he gave a lot of jobs, and most of U.S. citizens also are benefiting from his innovation. And that's how immigration should be seen. Of course, every country wants to have legal migration and want to promote migration because of nation sovereignty. No one should break immigration law. One should break immigration law. We should respect immigration law. But we should also promote immigration and promote the positive side of it as an asset, and counter illegal immigration. We cannot counter illegal immigration by portraying all immigrants or refugees or asylum seekers as terrorists as threat to culture, and so on and forth. So that's exactly what I had to say. I hope you can give us comment. You can subscribe. You can also talk to us in general, and we are happy to hear your opinion on that. Thank you for watching Chill Lit, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. See you tomorrow in also a live talk show. Bye bye.